Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. This is October the 26th, 2022, and we have an emergency alert, folks. And this is an emergency alert. I do not bring this to you happily, but we have reports now that Russia now has informed China and India that there will be a nuclear explosion at the Chernobyl plant and be blamed on Russia. It will be a replica of a Russian Iskander missile and orders to evacuate Kiev. This is coming in just a few hours ago from War News 24/7. Let's go to the article, folks. This is not a drill. It does look like that something is about to happen over in Ukraine. We just gave you an update earlier this morning that Russia said that if any nuclear bomb explodes in Ukraine, that they will consider it an attack on Russia, and they will respond with a massive nuclear attack on NATO bases and the United States. This could actually all be going down very soon, folks. So let me read you this article right here coming in from War News 24/7. Like I said, this information is an emergency alert. I want to try to bring you up to date on what is happening. Russia has informed China and India there will be a nuclear explosion in Chernobyl with a replica of a Russian Iskander missile to evacuate Kiev. We are in the final stages. The preparations of the Ukrainians are complete. Russia is now informing other countries that this is going to happen. And you can see a missile right here. So let's go ahead and read this. Russian media is putting out emergency responses to convey the information about an imminent explosion of a dirty nuclear bomb in the Chernobyl zone. All indications are that the decision to detonate a dirty nuclear bomb has been made. The Russians speak of the completion of Ukrainian preparations and the final stage. In addition, the Russians are now very specific and list 3 ways to detonate the dirty nuclear bomb. The most prevalent version is the downing of a Russian Iskander missile. Today, for the second time in a year, there was an exercise of the Russian nuclear strategic forces. The last time this has happened was 5 days before the start of the Russian military operation in Ukraine. Therefore, Moscow is expecting something. The fact that Russia has continued its contacts by informing China and now India at the highest levels should be a concern. Russia has notified all the nuclear powers on the planet, so there is no miscalculation, and World War III begins. Yesterday, the Russian media accidentally talked about Chernobyl 2 and an explosion in a big city. The choice is not random. The purpose, according to the Russians, is not to cause thousands of casualties and drag NATO into the war, but Kiev will be affected as Chernobyl is located about 90 kilometers northeast of the Ukrainian capital. Depending on the power of the dirty nuclear bomb, it may be even necessary to evacuate Kiev. We remind you that Russia's radio, biochemical, and warfare forces are now on high alert. Russia is now saying that there will be a nuclear explosion in the Chernobyl area by a Iskander dummy bomb. According to Russian state media, the Kiev regime is in the final stages of detonating a dirty bomb in an attempt to drag NATO countries in an imminent armed conflict with Russia. The Kiev regime is preparing a dummy Russian Iskander ballistic missile filled with nuclear waste to detonate it in the Chernobyl zone. Earlier reports indicate that the Kiev regime could fill the 152 millimeter ammunition with nuclear waste and launch it using self-propelled howitzers. The latest information indicates that Kiev is ready to use a dummy nuclear Iskander ballistic missile. The Russian missile dummy can be shot into the zone of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant where the radioactive background is already high. The aim is to display the fragments of an alleged missile and for Kiev to claim with the West that Russia has now attacked Ukrainian soil with a nuclear weapon. Initially, information appeared that the Ukrainian side could step up everything in such a way that the strike was caused by Russian troops on the territory of Belarus. The goal is clear here as well, to accuse the Republic of Belarus of engaging in a nuclear war against Ukraine. Folks, this does look like it's going to happen. It's going to be blamed on Russia to get NATO involved. I do believe that we're headed for a direct confrontation with Russia, and eventually this is going to spiral out of control. Preparations are now complete. In fact, the Kiev regime has already completed the technical preparations. Specialists of the Ukrainian enterprise, Immiment, have prepared the model of the rocket, which will be filled with radioactive material and then thrown into the exclusion zone of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Experts from Immiment have already built a dummy Russian Iskander missile. The warhead will be filled with radioactive material and then shot down by Ukrainian air defenses over the exclusion zone of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in order to announce that Russia has launched a nuclear weapon. The Iskander missile model was built on the basis of a missile from the Tochka U missile system. After the effigy is taken down, the Kiev authorities plan to show the Western and Ukrainian media fragments of the mock-up and electronics of the alleged Iskander missile in order to convince the Western public that Russia is guilty. Updated China, India, and the CIS countries. At the same time, Russian media has informed, in addition to the nuclear powers of the West, the USA, Britain, France, and also China and India. Initially, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu held talks with his Indian counterpart Rajnath Singh on October the 26th. Telephone conversations took place between the ministers of defense of the Russian Federation, General of the Army Sergei Shoigu, and Minister of Defense of the Republic of India Rajnath Singh. The situation in Ukraine was discussed. General Sergei Shoigu conveyed to his Indian counterpart his concerns about a possible provocations from Ukraine using a dirty bomb, the Russian Defense Ministry has announced. Shoigu reportedly informed India's Rajnath Singh that neither side in the conflict in Ukraine should use nuclear weapons, according to an Indian government statement. The prospect of using a radioactive or nuclear weapon is against the basis of principle of humanity, said Singh, who reiterated the need to resolve the conflict through dialogue and diplomacy. It is recalled that India is a member of the SCO and is an important partner of the Russian Federation, including in the military sphere. Later, Sergei Shoigu also held teleconference calls with Chinese Defense Minister Wang Feng. The situation in Ukraine was discussed. General Sergei Shoigu conveyed to his Chinese counterpart the concerns about a possible provocation from Ukraine using a dirty bomb, the Russian Defense Minister said in a statement. Finally, Vladimir Putin himself, speaking in a meeting with the heads of the secret services from many former Soviet countries, informed them about a possible challenge from Ukraine using a dirty bomb. The position that Russia will continue to warn international communities about Ukraine's intention to use the dirty bomb was formulated by representatives of the Kremlin, Peskov. So, folks, this is the latest news that we have right now. That Russia is now informing China and India that Ukraine is about to launch a fake Iskander missile at Chernobyl and blame it on the Russians to get the United States and Russia into a all-out war. Please go to our last video we did this morning. I want to show you another news article that we shared with you earlier today. I want to go over that real quick. But folks, this is very, very serious. This is the most serious situation that we have been in since 1962, over 50 years ago, during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And from this article, it states Russia will retaliate with nukes. Moscow explosion of a Ukrainian dirty bomb is an equivalent to a first nuclear strike against Russia. And Russia said that they will launch an all-out strike against the United States and NATO if this happens. So, folks, are we on the verge of nuclear war? I don't know. I'm reporting the news. Please do not shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting the news that is coming in right now, and it doesn't look very good. It does look like that something is about to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen today, tomorrow, but I did want to inform you of this latest news that just be prepared, folks. I wanted to warn you that anything could happen in the next coming days. And if we're on, if the internet is still up, I will try to get you the latest breaking news. So hopefully we'll come on later today and do a complete update. I'm taking my lunch break right now, so I'm on my lunch break, and we'll try to be back later tonight with a full update on all the day's developing situations. So God bless you. Remember, Jesus Christ is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. Bye-bye.